Hello, Virgo, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle, really looking at what is the purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I do have a different tarot deck for each side of this connection that we'll be using, as well as the advice deck that I'll be using in the extended. In addition, so if you watched my general readings for the last round that I did, not my last love readings, but my last general readings, you saw that I did an overall theme for the reading. And that overall theme, I did it because I had just gotten a new deck and I wanted to get to know it. So I was just pulling one card in every single reading, but I really liked what it added to the reading. So I am doing that again for these readings. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So reminder to take what does resonate and leave what does not. On that note, these energies can be swapped. So if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, just know that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps you and leave what doesn't. All right, Virgo, on your side of this connection, you have I was disillusioned with the Judgment in reverse. When I think about disillusioned, what I think is illusion of someone or something being shattered. I feel like there was a point in this connection, and maybe you're still struggling with this a little bit, where you were with the Judgment in reverse, kind of looking at things through the lens of rose-colored glasses, seeing things as you wanted them to be instead of how they really were. Now, on the flip side, I do feel like this person was presenting in the beginning of this connection a certain version of themselves that aligned with that illusion that you created and had. And so I feel like there's a lot more going on than just like, oh, you saw things one way and they ended up being another way. I do feel like there was a little bit of action on this person's part to create that, because it's all an act with the World card. I feel like they, how do I put this? I feel like they struggle a little bit with showing up in connections with like their authentic, genuine, vulnerable self. I feel like they have a tendency to show up, especially in the beginning of connections, how the other person might want them to be instead of who they really are. And I feel like this is kind of a cycle of their own that they're dealing with. Not necessarily aligning their actions with what it is that they really feel and who they really are and what's really going on. Maybe it's a form of protecting themselves. Maybe it's because they don't know themselves, so they don't know how to show up as themselves. There could be many different reasons for why that is happening, but I feel like that cycle is directly affecting you in some way, and then you have your own cycle associated. So I feel like both of you are kind of dealing with cycles in some way, shape, or form. Now, in between this connection, you both have destined soul ties with the Lovers in reverse. Now, when I think soul tie, and like especially when the word destined is before it, I kind of think these two people in this connection were supposed to meet. And whatever you are dealing with in this connection was supposed to happen. Now, with the Lovers in reverse, there is specifically a message kind of here about needing to know your value and know your worth. And I feel like this connection is teaching you about your worth and what it is that you deserve in some way, shape, or form. But this connection was absolutely supposed to meet. Now, the overall energy for the reading is soulmate. Now, I do feel like there's more to this kind of soulmate energy than is being kind of presented in this connection. And the one thing that I want everyone in this reading to remember is that we have multiple soulmates in this lifetime, multiple soulmates that we can attract into our lives in this lifetime. And some of them are here to teach us something for a short term. Some of them to be here a little bit longer. They don't always come in the form of romantic connections. They can be platonic, even be family members. So keep that in mind throughout this reading. I think that the idea that we only have one soulmate, and if that connection doesn't work out, then we're going to be alone or never have the love that we deserve, is a very harmful belief. So That's why I wanted to clarify that. But Virgo, let's start with your side of this connection. I was disillusioned with the Judgment in reverse. This is Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. One more. This is Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Virgo's side of this connection. Ooh. Knight of Wands in reverse. I wasn't sure if that came out upside down, but it didn't. Yeah. Queen of Swords in reverse. And look at that. There's the Judgment in reverse, which is the one that we have already for your overall energy. Okay. Virgo, we're going to get really honest right off the bat here. You have a lot of love for this person. There's no doubt about that. And I feel like the love that you have for them has blinded you in a few ways. Because seeing the Judgment in reverse twice, like immediately in this reading, is telling me that there's a part of you that is placing this person a bit on a pedestal and almost looking at them in this connection through the lens of what things could be instead of through the lens of how things are. Because there's a part of you that, how do I put this? Like, I cannot believe this is the first message of this reading. So please bear with me. There's a part of you that is sabotaging yourself and ultimately the love that you deserve through this illusion that you have of who this person really is. But bear with me with that, because I feel like it's setting the stage for to go a little bit more in depth. So Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. The Ten of Wands with the Hierophant in reverse and the Three of Cups in reverse. I feel as if this connection, it made a lot of false promises for you in the beginning. It had a lot of false promises. Whether it came from this person or not, I feel like there was a lot of promise unfulfilled in this connection. You saw it again for the potential of what it could be, and then it did not amount to that. And then over time, it went from being something that was full of hope and full of promise to something that felt very burdensome. Something that weighed heavy on you, that then started adding to maybe stress and anxiety and insecurity in your life, as opposed to adding to love, joy, and fulfillment. And I feel like that happened because of the way that it's like the way that this person was seen on your end, like the illusion that was presented to you in the form of this person. This like illusion and rose-colored glasses and like all of that is like such a big theme in this reading so far. Because there's something with the Hierophant in reverse, there's a different perspective that the universe is asking you to have regarding this connection. But I don't necessarily know what that is yet. So Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Yeah, there's the expectation. Ten of Cups in reverse, Strength in reverse, Magician in reverse. Man, that's a lot of reverse cards. Okay. Here's this potential, this expectation. You saw, again, with the Ten of Cups in reverse, what this could be. But then it's like, the longer that this connection went, you'd think that the longer that you're in a connection with someone, the closer you get to that potential, right? But the longer this connection has unfolded, the further away from that potential you've gotten. And with the Strength in reverse, it started to really affect your self-esteem, your sense of self, your confidence. And I feel like what's the bigger picture that's kind of needing to be seen here is that it has more to do with like them and what they've got going on than it has to do with like you not being good enough. So I feel like that's something that, because remember, the truth of this connection is about you saying your value, knowing your value, standing up for your value. So I do feel like there's a lot here. This person's, or Virgo's energy toward the person they are dealing with. Virgo's energy toward the person they are dealing with. This is Virgo's side of this connection. The world, and there's that cycle. The world in reverse. 3 of Pentacles in reverse, 9 of Swords. So, things have kind of either started to or have fallen apart in this connection. And the other way that I see that is things never came together. Like, it's like they either, you saw this potential and, as you felt like you were getting close to that, things fell apart. Or you saw this potential and you were trying to move toward that, but things never, like the pieces never fell into place. That's what it feels like. The pieces never fell into place. And what that's kind of left you with is this 9 of Swords. Your fear, your doubt, your insecurity has been put like in a spotlight almost through this connection. Am I going to be alone? Am I ever going to get the love that I deserve? Am I good enough for the love that I deserve? Is it possible? Is it out there? Am I ever going to have it? I feel like all of those fears, doubts, and insecurities have been really placed in a spotlight through this. Now, I feel on a deeper level that was intentional. Because like I said at the very beginning with this destined soul ties and the lovers in reverse, these two people meeting and what has taken place in this connection was destined. It was supposed to happen the way that it did. And I feel like it's because both, and I said this, I was like, they're dealing with the cycle, you're dealing with the cycle. I feel like both of you are dealing with your own personal cycles that have created a cycle in between this connection. But this cycle in between this connection, though a shared cycle, is still affecting both people. And I feel like I'll elaborate more on that because I feel like that might have been kind of confusing. I've also seen the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, so you could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You don't have to be. At all. Virgo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. One more. This is Virgo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Virgo's side of this connection, please. Flip over. No, I want it to flip all the way over, hit the table. I don't even know what card that was. I think it was Page of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles with the sword, 3 of Swords in reverse. Huh. 10 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords in reverse. 8 of Pentacles in reverse. This is such an interesting message. Okay. The healing. I feel like I'm going to say this and you're going to be like, F off. The healing from this connection presents an opportunity for some pretty incredible abundance for you here. And I feel like this 10 of Pentacles is kind of, I feel like the reason it came out the way that, like, is it's kind of like this 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles are kind of the same thing. Like abundance emotionally and materially, right? So I kind of feel like this connection has presented an opportunity to you in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's learning about your worth, learning what you deserve, learning learning more about yourself. I don't necessarily know the details of it, but the healing in this connection, because I do feel like this connection's done some damage. I'm not gonna lie. I do feel like this connection has done some damage to you, Virgo. And the healing from it, I feel like, is almost like it presents you with this opportunity of being able to have what it was you were looking for through it. Hope that makes sense. The healing that was triggered by this connection opens up the door for you to have what it is that you were looking for in this connection, whether it's through this person or not. Virgo side of this connection. Virgo side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is for Virgo side of this connection. The healing is the abundance, because it also leads to the abundance. But Virgo, you're not being totally honest with yourself here. You're not being totally honest with yourself here. In some way, I kind of want to know in what way. Let me clarify this Ace of Cups in reverse. Clarifying the Ace of Cups in reverse for Virgo's side of this connection. Clarifying the Ace of Cups in reverse for Virgo's side of this connection, please. The Nine of Swords and the Page of Wands. So we saw this Nine of Swords, right? I talked about how this Nine of Swords has been being like seen through like a spotlight through this connection. In addition to that, there's some like childhood wound. Some sort of childhood wound has been triggered through this connection. So that's why the healing can lead you to the abundance, because there's some sort of cycle here, karmic cycle, on your side of things that's stemming from this childhood wound. And from healing through this connection, the healing that this connection presents not just healing what happened between these two people, but healing like deeper inner childhood wounds that have been like pushed down. And that's what, like, at first I thought this is not being honest, but the Ace of Cups in reverse to me is like repressed emotion, like things that have kind of been pushed down that are being brought up through this connection. That's why I feel like this has been so painful. Or why there's such an attachment to it, like why there's been this, like why this was so destined, is because this is like, this is more than just the connection. This is like deep healing and growth that can come from this. Let's get more though. Let's see what it is. Oops, move that table. Let's see what it is that this person has going on. This is this person's energy toward Virgo, please. It's all in act with the world. This person's energy toward Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. It's all in act with the world. All right. This person's energy toward Virgo. Three of Swords in reverse right off the bat. The same Three of Swords in reverse as you were dealing with. Oh. Okay. Okay. Best way that I can say this is this person kind of broke their own heart in this connection through their actions or inactions. Because, I mean, yeah, the Ace of Wands in reverse can be like lack of action. Not showing up the way that you need, not, committing to this connection in the best way that they knew that they could. And maybe they did commit in the best way they knew. Oh my gosh, maybe they did commit in the best way they knew how, but the best way they knew how wasn't what it was that you were deserving of. Because I kind of feel like it's interesting because you have this healing that you're kind of having to focus on based on how this connection affected you. And they have this healing too, but it kind of feels like it's a result of their own actions. So both people in this connection are healing from this person's actions. Which makes sense. This person's energy toward Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo. Woof! This person doesn't know how to communicate. It's like their biggest obstacle. The Nine of Wands in reverse, Page of Swords in reverse. Their biggest obstacle is not knowing how to communicate. Now, don't get me wrong, this person can probably talk. You two have probably had a lot of conversations. There's probably been a lot of speaking. They probably know, maybe they know how to argue. Maybe they know how to justify their actions. Maybe they know how to whatever, but they do not know how to communicate. They don't know how to be honest about how they feel. They don't know how to listen. They don't know how to be understanding. I feel like this person's always on the defensive. And that's why you have it's all in act. It's like what they say and what they do does not align with how they feel. That energy hit me. It was important or something. And maybe that's why you had this illusion presented, is maybe they presented you with a lot of false promises. Maybe they said all the right things. Maybe they always knew how to justify, again, their actions or something. But it's like they don't know how to communicate. There's no communication happening between these two people. Maybe you're trying, but you can't communicate with someone who is not willing to listen and be just as vulnerable back. It's like talking to a brick wall. I mean, it won't get you anywhere. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. Temperance and the Death. The Page of Cups in reverse. It's like waiting for this to end. It's like they went into this with the expectation that it wasn't gonna last. I mean, they have this Page of Cups in reverse, like emotional unavailability, not able to commit. Maybe that's this cycle. It's like they've been in a lot of relationships that haven't worked, or maybe they have a very unfortunate view of love, viewing it as something that is replaceable, or something that is, not saying that they think you're replaceable, but something that can't last. It's like they expect maybe they expect everyone that's ever loved them to leave, or they expect, I don't know, whatever the case is. It's like they have a very negative view on love. So I feel like they never really fully opened their heart to this. Because it's like they were just waiting for it to end. Now, typically when that's the case, they probably sabotaged it. Someone who doesn't ever really open their heart to love is going to do whatever they can to push it away, because they're afraid of actually accepting that into their life. And the more potential a connection has is probably going to be more of a potential for them to sabotage. It's like they have this very unfortunate view on love and relationships. And who knows what they've been through, right? This person's energy toward Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. The reason things fell apart is because of their lack of action. Or like their actions or lack thereof. It has to do with their actions, though. Because there's a Ten of Cups. They saw the potential in this too. But then they didn't like do anything about it. It's like they didn't show up in the way that they needed to realize that potential. And I feel like that's such a cycle for them. Sabotaging good things in their life because, it's interesting. Us as humans, and I'm not just talking about this person, but like everyone has a tendency to sabotage their own potential because realizing our own potential can be really scary because it's so far out of our comfort zone what that potential, might look like. And so it just kind of feels like they either leave or they push you away or they sabotage it in some other way, infidelity, whatever the case is, because, well, that's easier than actually reaching for potential that this connection had and that they felt that or has. Again, this, take this as it resonates. It doesn't, I'm talking about it in past tense because it feels like this is over or there's at least separation, but I don't know. Take it as it resonates. All right, this person's energy toward Virgo. There could just be like distance between these two energies, but you're still in a connection. I don't know. This connection feels pretty over, but this person's energy toward Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. Oof. They let their emotions get in the way of what it is that they want. That's the cycle. Look at that. That's the world. It's like with the Tower. Yeah, the Tower, the Queen of Swords in reverse. It's like they don't actually, they want the Ten of Cups. They want, that long-term connection with someone. But then at the same time, it's like they burn it to the ground before it even gets a chance to like actually be what it is that it's desired. So that's where the cycle lies. Because I feel like you have this cycle here of this person sabotaging, themselves and their own potential at happiness by not giving it all they have. And then you kind of have the flip side. You sabotage what it is that you desire by giving things that don't really give back to you, like to a fault, So they have this own cycle, you have your own cycle, and there's a cycle that exists in between this connection. Now that goes back to, and I say this in a lot of my readings, but I feel like it's really important to talk about here, is that 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of how we interact with our reality is conscious. So 95% of you might be saying, like, of this person might be saying, I really want this connection to work. I really want long-term lasting love. But then, 5% of them might be saying that. I really want this long-term lasting love. But then 95% of them might be, I'm not deserving. All love comes to an end. I'm not capable. I'm not good enough for love. Love just hurts, so I might as well just push it away, whatever it is. So it's like they want something to work out. They wanted this to work out. They want this to work out. But then it's like 95% of them is doing whatever they can to like push it away. Because at the end of the day, they don't actually have their heart open to it. This is this person's energy toward Virgo, please. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. The Hermit and the Ace of Wands. I want to clarify this. I feel like, well, let me see. Ace of Wands and the Hermit. What is this saying? Because see, this person, they need to do some introspection on their own actions and how their actions lead to things falling apart. Because oftentimes when you're dealing with somebody who, says, oh, all relationships end, everyone always cheats, or everyone always hurts you, there's their own cycle, right, that they're dealing with. The common denominator in any relationship, in all your relationships, is you, right? And if you want to get to the bottom of why you haven't been able to find a sustainable love, you've got to get to the bottom of, your own relationship with yourself, and so on and so forth. So what I'm getting at is that I feel like, I don't know if they're doing it or not, because I feel like this is going to depend on your individual situation, but this person, they're going to have to learn to take accountability. And I don't know if they're at that point right now where they're able to take accountability, because I feel like, a lot of times when you're dealing with someone who's, low love always ends, or, people always hurt me, or people always leave, or I'm not good enough, so everyone always, walks away, or whatever the case might be for them. I always mess things up, or whatever the case is. It's like they recognize there's a pattern, but I don't know if they're actually doing any introspection to look at like to take accountability for like how they've contributed to that. So that I feel like is what's missing from this, because they do have a tendency to sabotage, like to self-sabotage their connections. And I feel like they need to do some introspection here on how they self-sabotage their connections. Now remember, we started out this reading talking about how you have a tendency to self-sabotage the love that you deserve by either accepting less than what you deserve, or which I ultimately feel like is what it is. I feel like it's accepting less than what you deserve, or accepting mistreatment, or something like that, which I feel like we'll explore more in this kind of extended. But anyway, we're going to hop on over to the extended. You have destined soul ties with the Lovers in reverse. I'm going to pull 9 different messages. I have an advice card to pull for you at the very end. Thank you so much, Virgo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Virgo, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Virgo.